The bird looks more clumsy. Yeah, so today we're talking about which fighter style is better, I guess. Yeah. Now, and you guys will see it up there in just a second. Now, the crane style kung fu is actually kind of similar to the tiger style kung fu. We're going to look at some of the moves and some actual drawings of like the real kung fu moves. And they often are paired together, actually, because they kind of work well. They kind of balance each other out. And so we're going to look at those today.
A tiger and a crane?
The tiger and a crane, yeah. So a lot of kung fu styles.
How can a machine crane go with a tiger?
Oh, okay. So that's what we're going to look at today, how a tiger can go with a crane. But first, I'm going to show you guys our... hold on a second. Why is this not going live? Let's see. The tiger. There we go. Whoa, that's loud. There we go.
You're yelling at your students.
All right, but first, before we get into all that, I will answer all your questions about tiger and crane kung fu. But first, we're going to do an art review. So we have this one. This one was done by Heath. These are all from last week's episode. Remember when we drew Po from Kung Fu Panda?
Nope, I did not draw him.
You didn't draw him? Oh, okay. I think I have some of your other drawings, though, because we did do a lot of artwork. This one was done by Vincent. He's one of my past students. You guys might remember Vincent from the class. He was in the cartooning class, which was a lot of fun. And then coming up next, we have our animal kung fu fighters. So in class together, we created the hamster kung fu style of fighting. Do you guys remember that?
No.
No? Okay. I'll show you guys mine, actually. Here we go. Here, look at this. So last week I drew a kung fu style. Hey, Kathleen. Last week we drew different animal styles kung fu. This was my hamster style kung fu. You guys will see it in just a second. Yours is coming up too. Yeah. I finished off the hamster one and I added a little bit of a background too. Hi. All right. And we're going to look at what other people drew as well. Then there was also, I think somebody did a bird. Graham, did you do a bird? Or was it just a bird? Was it bird kung fu or just a bird? This is my hamster kung fu, and I put him in like a little hamster cage. We also did some kitty style kung fu. Emmett did an octopus style kung fu, which is going to show up in just a second. The octopus is really cool because I feel like that would be a really cool like fighting style.
Like a lot of arms?
Yeah, like a lot of arms. Yeah, you guys will see that one up in just a second too. All right. So if you guys ever want to submit your art, you can just send it to noahfontana@gmail.com, or you can tag me in a picture on Instagram, or send it to me in a message on Instagram at teacher.noah. Which is super fun. All right. Now, our morning mindfulness comes from the All-Star. Do you guys remember the All-Star? I think some of you even earned the All-Star. You got the All-Star? Yeah. The All-Star is when you... It's... Yeah, kind of help a friend in need. But specifically helping a friend by teaching them something that you learned in class today, or in any of the art classes. So if you kind of teach somebody something that you learn, that's an all-star because you're looking out for everyone and you're also sharing your knowledge, and that's how you get the all-star. So what we learned today, if you guys take that with you, it's a beaver? Oh, because of his teeth? Yeah, he's got one, or yeah, a big tooth in the middle. Yeah. Now, if you guys want to share what you've learned today, you can absolutely do that with a friend, and that's how you'd earn the All-Star. Yeah, and if you've already done it, yeah. Then, if you've already earned it once, definitely don't share any more knowledge with your friends. Keep it all to yourself. All right, so for our activity today...
I like these.
You like these? Those boards? Yeah, some of the students in the studio are using the drawing boards. All right, so... Have you guys seen Avatar: The Last Airbender?
No way.
Have you heard about it?
No way.
No? Okay.
Of course
So
I've heard of it.
okay, so maybe when you're a little bit older you could watch the show, but they have a really cool thing where they have martial arts like karate and kung fu, but they give it a twist. And so in Avatar: The Last Airbender, they have the characters do kung fu, but then it moves the elements in the world. So one in particular is called earthbending, but they also have water and fire and air bending, and that's where you could like move the different objects. And so earthbending is actually inspired by a type of kung fu called Hung Ga Kung Fu, and it's very much based on having like a strong, steady stance, and that's super important in martial arts and in life. You want to make sure you have a solid base before you do other things. Because have you ever seen in a movie where like a character tries to like punch or kick another character, but they're off balance? What happens to them? They just like fall over. They fall back. Like if I try to push something and yet I'm kind of like unsteady, I'm probably going to push myself over. And so with Hung Ga Kung Fu, it's really important to have a strong, steady stance. Now, in Kung Fu Panda, they actually use that same style of Kung Fu to inspire, and not even just in Kung Fu Panda, in real life Kung Fu, they use that style. Hung Ga is inspired by the crane and the tiger fighting styles. And so you could see some of these drawings of the different moves, and you could see some of these stances are inspired by the cranes where he's like going like this and poking. A crane style kung fu is actually heavily based on deflecting and moving and kind of being agile, and also using certain moves like on pressure points, which are like certain points of the body that hurt more than others. Then you could also see some of the poses that look more like tiger style, and that's where you use your hand almost as claws, kind of like when we do the heel palm in Sensei Says during the break. And the tiger style is very like aggressive and offensive. And so when you pair these two styles together, you get a really nice balance. You get lots of good deflections, and you can move out of the way of other attacks, but then you can also attack really strongly with a lot of power. And you could see some of these moves here. And so the Hung Ga Kung Fu was what inspired this kind of martial arts for the Kung Fu Panda. And if you notice, all the different characters, like the I forget what they call them, like the 5 animals that are like the Kung Fu masters. There's the crane, the praying mantis. I almost called him a grasshopper again. There's what are the other ones? Do you guys remember? Yeah. A tiger. Yep. What else?
A snake.
A snake. Yep. And he likes bananas.
Monkey.
Monkey. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think one of them has a fox. A red panda.
Oh, the leader? Yeah, I think we found out last week that it was actually supposed to be a red panda. But it doesn't kind of look like that because he's gray. Yeah, he kind of looks like a mouse. I think they made him look older, so they turned his red fur like gray. But yes, exactly. It kind of looks like a fox too. Very, very similar animals. And all those animals actually inspired the real life kung fu moves because they saw how the animals like moved and attacked, and they were like, oh, that's kind of cool. We can kind of learn from that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the crane and the tigress style kung fu fighting, which is the Hung Ga Kung Fu. And we're going to first draw these characters and break them down into really simple shapes, because you guys know I love like super simple shapes. And we're going to break them down into simple shapes like these. Here, you guys will see those simple shapes in just a second. And we're going to break them down into the simple shapes based off of the drawings that are already there. Then what we're going to do in activity 2 is we're going to take one of the poses for the Kung Fu styles of the Hung Ga Kung Fu, and we're going to try to fit those shapes to that style and draw out the final character in that style. So we're going to see which character looks better in which pose. All right, so first off, get your pencils out.
I don't have a pencil.
There are a bunch right over there. Okay. Now, for these simple shapes, I'm choosing to use a colored pencil. I'm going to use a blue because we're gonna end up drawing over it with like the actual like graphite pencil, and we want to be able to see those lines. So if you want to use blue, you can use blue. If you want to use something else, you can use something else. Oh, perfect. Yeah. And if you guys need pencil sharpeners, we got them out right there too. All right. So let's start with the crane. Here we go. And we're going to do this movement, which is like very typical of a crane. It's kind of like he's deflecting with his arms, kind of very much like almost like an airbender kind of move, where they use like big sweeping motions, and that kind of sweeps away any attacks that might come at them. All right. Now, I think we should start with an easy shape, which is like this leg right here, which is just a straight line. So we're just going to draw a straight line for the leg, like that. And you can draw little dots for the feet if you want to. But again, we're just doing simple shapes, so we're not going to get too much into the details. All right. Then for the body, we're going to use like an oval shape or like an egg shape. And for the wings, we're going to use kind of like crescent moons. Speaking of moons, did you guys see the eclipse the other day? No? Did you hear about it? Yeah?
No.
I ended up missing it, actually. I was in the car. You saw it? Did you use the glasses, hopefully, like the special lenses?
Yeah, we did.
You did? That's cool. I did see a lot of cool pictures of like the light reflecting. All right. So these shapes that we're using, so far we did a line, we did like an egg shape, and then we did like a crescent moon, like that. And already we've gotten like a lot of the main parts of this character. Now for his other leg that's kind of hidden behind, we're going to make like a check mark shape that kind of goes like that, check mark. And drawing through your other shapes helps you make sure that they all kind of overlap nicely. Oh, and hello to people online. Yes, I look a little bit different. I did shave off a lot of my beard. All right. There we go. So this shape, I would say, is like a check mark shape for that leg. All right. Then for the neck.
That looks weird.
Yeah, they're going to look weird right now because this is not actually... That looks pretty good.
I'm going to erase the other one.
Now, for the neck, we're going to do a simple line, just like a curved line, and then we'll fill it in a little bit later. After that, we're going to draw a tiny little circle at the tip for the head, and a triangle for the beak. Actually, a triangle and like an extra little like triangle shadow line. All right, and then for the hat, that could be another line with a little line coming out of it. There we go. Now with really simple shapes, so this is like something that I think most of early artists can draw. You've already laid out a really good structure. Just like how we were talking about Kung Fu, they have to have a really good strong base before they do an attack. With art, it's very similar. I think that's why they call it martial arts. Now that we have this really strong structure, it'll be easy to add on the details on top. And because it was so like simple shapes, it didn't take us a lot of time to draw that out, which is really good. Because if we needed to change anything or erase anything, it wouldn't have, we wouldn't feel like we're like erasing like so much work. I actually found out while I was researching for this class that, what is it? Judo and Jiu-Jitsu. Judo, I think, is the one that is called the gentle way. And Jiu-Jitsu is...
Mine looks like he's more running.
It looks like he's more running? Yeah, it might look like he's a little bit running. Once we add the details, it'll kind of fill it in more. Now we're going to pause the crane right here, and we're going to move on to the tigress.
No, I'm going to keep doing my crane.
Okay, yeah, if you didn't finish your crane yet, yeah, you can finish the crane. Now for the tigress, I think I want to start with the head this time. Now the main shape of her head is this kind of like semicircle drawing like this. A semicircle is like kind of like a half a circle. Like that. There we go. And another semicircle. Now, since her face is very visible, unlike the crane, which his eyes are kind of hidden, I'm going to draw that T line that we normally do, like that and like that. And then we can just draw another semicircle underneath. All right. Now we're going to top off the head and add the ears. Now, this doesn't look like the tigress just yet, but it's a really good base for us to add in the details. All right. All right, now for the arms. Now, the arms are they kind of get like puffy towards like the wrist. So we're going to do like a teardrop shape, kind of like this, like a stretched out teardrop shape, like this. All right, with this hand the same thing too, like that. And for the fingers, we could just draw little circles like that. Circle, circle, circle. Circle, circle, or like oval circle, like that. Now, while this doesn't, and I'm going to check out all of your work at the end, but I can't come and check it out right now, though. So keep on working on it because we're not quite done yet. Now, what I'm showing you right here, even though this doesn't look like a finished drawing, because it's not, this is how I draw and I think all this stuff in my head. As you get more experience and you practice more of these simple shapes, you'll be able to do it in your head as well, and you won't have to go through this entire process each time. But if I'm drawing like a big scene with a lot of people, I'll still probably start with some simple shapes, just so I know where everything's going to go. Now for the body, we're going to draw kind of like a big sausage shape. Or like a Twinkie, more like it actually. All right, then for the legs, another oval, like that. I'm actually gonna shrink her down just a little bit so that I have enough room. There we go, okay. And for her back leg, the one that's behind, it's kind of all flows into one big shape, kind of like that Twinkie shape again. So we're going to stick with that Twinkie shape like that. And then for the, because I can't think of what else it looks like. There we go. And we'll just add the tail. And again, you could keep these really sketchy because we're going to draw over them. So that we can see what the entire thing looks like. All right. Now, if you finish both of your sketches, we're going to go in and draw some of the details now, just so we can practice so that when we draw the next poses, because next what we're going to do is we're going to take one of those Kung Fu poses and we're going to fit these same shapes onto that pose and see if we can reconstruct it. Kind of like as if these were like building blocks, like wood pieces of wood, and we were going to like reshape them so that they looked like the other pose. All right. So for the crane face, let me see. I always love starting with the eyes, so I'm going to draw the eyes first.
I already did that.
Okay, if you've already done the eyes, you can work on the details too. There we go. Or you could add some color. If you've already finished some of these eyes, you could work on the coloring too. I'm probably not going to have time to do color. There we go.
I barely know how to color the crane.
I know, the crane doesn't have a whole lot of color. The crane's got some like grays and blues, maybe a little bit of yellows too. All right.
Yellows?
Yeah, for like the beak and the hat. There we go. Here we go. All right, and now we're going to draw the neck. I'm just gonna kind of create like an outline for around the for around that line that we drew, like that. And now I don't have to worry about the placement so much. I can just add in the outline, which is a lot easier. The placement is usually the tricky part.
Hey, do you have to do the outline?
Yes, I would suggest doing the outline because we're going to use the outline in the next part too. Now for the wings, I'm kind of just drawing like big M's, almost like the McDonald's M. And I'm just drawing those around like that. There we go. Nice. All right. And here's the body. Okay. And again, really skinny M's for that, just to give the illusion of the wings. We're going to keep it kind of simple still. Now, normally if I was drawing, like if I was going to do a full illustration, I would do like these shapy sketches, and I would draw this sketch kind of around the same step. So I might not break it up into two different parts where I draw really simple shapes and then details. I would probably just see if I can go straight for the details. And then on top of this sketch, I would do like the final really clean outline once I know where all the details are going to go. All right.
Do we have to outline everything?
I would say because we're just doing this for fun, for practice, you could just outline the parts that you think are most interesting.
You're gonna outline everything, even the
You're going to outline everything? Okay, cool. All right, there we go. All right. Nice. All right, and then we have a pretty good crane sketch, and if we hide the blue, it looks pretty on point, I would say. It looks mostly like the crane, then we add like shadows and details.
everything.
There you go. Okay, now we're gonna outline the tigress. All right.
Do the time.
Okay, well, if you want the sketch, I'm gonna leave, it's gonna be right up there, so you can follow along and do the sketch right there. All right, let's see. All right, I'm gonna start with the ears this time. Now, a big part about what makes the tigress look really cool is all the patterns on her. There we go. All right. Now, when I'm drawing, just like how we're drawing the simple shapes, even with these patterns, I'm still kind of trying to keep in mind where they are in relation to other parts of the tigress. And that's really, I would say, is like the biggest key or hack of drawing, is that you're not just drawing it and trying to copy it place for place, but what you're doing is you're looking where things are in relation to other things. That means if I want to draw, let's say the mouth and the nose, right? Now, if I draw the nose way down here, technically it's still in the snout, but now I'm not going to have enough room for the mouth. And if I draw the nose like way too high, like this, it might look more like she's got her head tilted up, but a big part of the tigress is that her head is down, kind of in like a intimidating way. And if we look right now where I drew this nose, it's right under the eyes. Whereas if we look at where the nose is on this character, it's almost near the bottom of the cheeks, not near the eyes. So that's what I mean by looking at where things are in relation to other parts of the character that you've already drawn. So let's draw the nose right around here. Like that. All right. Now I'm going quick with the eyes, but if you guys want a lesson on like how to draw really cool eyes, I just taught a one-on-one class with a student yesterday, and we drew some really cool detailed eyes. So if you guys need some help with that, we can definitely cover each of those different elements in a class. All right. I think that's enough detail for right now, just because I want to make sure we get time to draw the rest of the body. All right. There we go. Just adding a little bit of a check mark for the vest and where the sleeves would come out right there. But this is a sleeveless vest, so we're going to draw this. All right. How are you guys doing online? Is everybody following along all right? And how are you guys doing in here? You guys are doing good? Yeah, great. I love it. Okay, cool. I can't wait to see these once we're done with them. Okay. Let's see, there we go. Tigress is almost done. You just got to finish off the legs. Fortunately, with these shapes that we have, her clothes kind of fit right around those shapes, so it won't be too hard to like trace over what we've already drawn. All right. Now some stripes to the tail, and we are done. All right. Now, what's really cool about character designs, especially for animated movies, when they're designed well, is they have a really strong sense of shape so that the character keeps those shapes in any different pose that they're in. So if you look, we could use these same shapes to draw the crane or the tigress in their other poses, which is really cool, because next what we're going to do is we're going to take one of those kung fu poses from the instructional sheets, and we're going to try to fit these shapes, these original shapes, into those and then draw over it to give it the detail. and see if that works. And that's pretty much how artists use like stick figures, or even how they make movies, because they use storyboards, like we learned in a previous lesson in our Inside Out series. We did some storyboards and thumbnails, and they do that because they're laying a base so that they know generally where everything is, and then they incorporate those into the actual film. All right. Now it's time for some Sensei Says. We're going to take a quick karate break. And this is, I do this break for any of you that are new here because I used to do karate. You'll see a picture of me as an orange belt up on the screen in a second when I was probably around your age at this karate school that I went to. And what was great about doing karate each week was that I learned to balance different elements of my life, because drawing is very like stationary. You're usually not moving around too much, and you're kind of sitting still. And it's good to have other hobbies and do other kinds of things that kind of help bring life and experience into your drawing, so that your drawings feel more real. And so like I have lots of different hobbies that I do that are different than visual art, but they're still a form of art in my mind. So like they call it martial arts. I do some music stuff too, like try to learn songs on the guitar. And it just helps my creative brain stay loose and flexible. And also, as you get older as an artist, you'll find that if you're drawing for like an all day, if you end up doing this for like your career, for like work, you end up getting like really stiff. And then when you get up, your like legs fall asleep or something like that. So I don't want that to happen to any of you guys. And I want us to stay nice and loose, because when your body's loose, then you can create really nice drawings that flow really well. So if you guys would like, you guys can get up out of your seat. I would suggest drinking some water too. Wakes you up a little bit. And we're going to play a game called Sensei Says. Now, if you've ever played Simon Says, you should be pretty good at this game. Sensei Says is just like Simon Says, except for when I was a kid going to karate, you would call the teacher sensei. And that's what sensei means. It just means teacher. So if I say Sensei Says straight punch, you're going to make a fist with your hand, put your thumb on the outside, and punch straight ahead like that. And you make sure you punch with these two knuckles. Okay? It's a big problem when people like punch with other parts of your hand. You can end up getting hurt. Then we're doing one called rising block. This one is like you're punching up at the sky like that, rising block. And it's as if somebody was like coming down on you with like a sword or a bat. Probably not a sword, because then you wouldn't want to block it with your hand. But if it was like, if they were coming at you like that, you can block it with your hand. Now, the next one is called cross block. Cross block is just like it sounds. It goes across your face like this from the outside. Like that. That's cross block. Then there's middle block, which is like the opposite of cross block. So if cross block goes across your face like this, middle block goes like this, like you're scooping ice cream and going across your face that way. There we go, just like that. Yeah. Then there's down block, and you guys could probably guess which way this one goes. Down, down. And I'm going to show you guys some new moves. So we have spear hand, which you go straight forwards like this. But to make a spear with your hand, you want to tuck in your thumb, because if you leave your thumb out like this, and this has happened to me when I was in class, I did a spear hand and it got hooked on somebody's sleeve, and then my thumb got pulled back. So you want to make sure your thumb is tucked in, and you want to bend your fingers just a little bit like that, so that you hit it from like the top. Because if you hit the point of your fingers might get bent back and you could jam your fingers. So spear hand goes like this, like a spear. And this one is very similar to like the different crane attacks, because the crane is very like particular and kind of like pokes at its attacker. Then the next one is heel palm. This one's more like a tiger fist heel palm. So you make like a tiger fist claw like that, and you go up and you hit it with this part of your palm. You go wah, wah, wah. If you want to do tiger sounds, you can. Then our last one, this is a brand new one that I haven't taught you guys yet, is called shuto. Can you guys say shuto? Yeah. So this one, you make another kind of spear hand. You put your hands behind your ears like that, and then you come around like that, right in front, like that. Shuto. Almost like you're like a server holding like a big plate of like food, like that, like that. All right, let's play some Sensei Says. I'm gonna leave those up so you can see what them. Heel palm is where you make the tiger fist and you go up like that.
Like
Heel
this?
palm. Yeah, like that. You can do it with 2 hands if you want. All right, so we're gonna do 3 rounds of Sensei Says. We're gonna start off slow, and then we're gonna get a little bit faster.
The new last one.
Shuto, right there at the bottom, the pink one. So put your hands behind your ears like that, and you go like that. Yep, and you would hit the person or the whatever is your target with this right here. All right, ready. Sensei says, shake out, get loose. You guys ready? Okay. Sensei says rising block. Sensei says middle block. Sensei says down block. Sensei says heel palm. Sensei says heel palm. Sensei says spear hand. Shuto. Oh, didn't say Sensei says. All right, let's go again. This time I'm gonna go a little bit faster. Ready? Sensei says shuto. Sensei says shuto. Sensei says heel palm. Sensei says spear hand. Sensei says spear hand. Sensei says rising block. Sensei says down block. Sensei says middle block. Rising block. Oh, okay. Now, if you've gotten out, you can come back in for our last round. This one, we're going to go super fast. You guys ready? Here we go. Here we go. All right. Sensei says rising block. Sensei says middle block. Sensei says heel palm. Sensei says shuto. Sensei says shuto. Sensei says spear hand. Sensei says heel palm. Sensei says down block. Sensei says cross block. Middle block. Oh, all right. How many of you guys, did any of you last through all of them? No, that last one got a lot. How about you guys online? Did any of you last through that whole thing? All right. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to do the second part of our activity. There we go. I'm getting all tongue-tied with that shuto. All right. Now, for this second part, what we're going to do is I need your guys' help to pick a pose. All right. So, again, this is Hung Ga Kung Fu. So it's actually inspired by crane and tiger style Kung Fu. Now, we have lots of different poses to choose from. We want to pick one that looks really cool. Oh, Carla online, I didn't get her out. She lasted through the whole thing. Now, I'm going to do a quick thing while you guys look at these poses and pick which ones are your favorite ones. I'm going to number them so we can, you guys can tell me which ones you want. So this one we'll call number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do 10, 11, 12. There's so many poses. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. All right. So if you guys see one that you think would look really cool, we're going to draw the tiger and the crane in that pose, and we're gonna see which one.
6 looks cool.
Number 6 does look cool. Okay, so we got 1 vote for 6. Anybody? Does anybody? You guys agree with 6? All right, let's do 6. All right.
I say 15.
You say 15? 15 looks cool. Ooh, 15 does look cool. Okay, if we can have time, let's see if we can do both. So 6 and 15.
9 and 6 and 5 and 3 are my favorite. Including 2 and 1.
All right, here we go.
I think everything is cool.
Everything is cool. Okay, I love it. Yeah, I mean, they all are really cool. Okay.
I think gymnastics and this is nothing like that.
Oh, really? Yeah, gymnastics. I mean, gymnastics. That's pretty hard workout too, though.
And cheerleading.
And cheerleading too. Woof! You guys are pretty active. I love it. Okay, let's do this. We're gonna duplicate this.
6 and 15.
Yep, we're doing.
6 and 15. 6 is my favorite.
6 is your favorite?
Including 5. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 are my favorites.
Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna move these. Actually, I'm gonna pull up our shapes. Do you guys still? Can you guys still see your shapes? All right. Your first shapes that you did for your characters.
I wasn't sure for that.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring up mine so that you guys can see them too. All right. All right. So here we go. Here we go. There we go. And here's our reference right here. I'm gonna make it nice and big so we can see. Oh, right, here we go. Okay, so first off, All right, we're gonna quiet it down just a little bit. Thank you, just because it starts to get picked up the noise. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're going to start with the tigress shapes, and we're gonna see if we can fit those shapes into this pose right here. All right, so I'm gonna start with the head, and if you look, this head is already kind of tilted to the side because he's adding like that motion. So let's draw a little bit of an action line like that, which is just kind of like where the line of the motion of the character will follow. And we're gonna fit Tigress's head right there. Remember, we used the semicircle like this.
I don't think it's showing up on the screen.
Oh, it's just a little bit delayed, yeah. Okay, you guys will see it in just a second, and then you'll have plenty to draw.
Japanese.
Of course it's Japanese.
I think so, yeah. All right. There we go. Okay, so that's the action line right there. And then what you also want to have is you're going to add the face in, and you want to make sure the face is tilted now a little bit. And because he's the actor or the man doing the move is looking up, we're going to change the eye line from a curve that looks like a smiley face to more like a frowny face curve, like that. So it's going to be a little bit curved down. All right. You'll see that line across where the eyes are. That's the eye line. So right now it's curved a little bit like a smiley face, like it curves up on the ends. We want it to curve down, just like this guy's face curves down. All right. Now let's draw the arms. Now his arm is in front, so we're going to overlap this and create that same shape that we see right here, this shape. Let's see, we already did that face. I'm just going to retrace as we go. All right, and we could also add the fingers. Now remember, for the fingers, we just drew little circles, and this guy's hand is in a fist. So we're just going to draw circles like that. And I don't think we would see the thumb from this angle. There we go. Now remember the shape that we used for the body of Tigress? What did I say it looked like? Twinkie.
It looks like a tiger, but it has clothes on and it's animated.
Well, yeah, the whole shape looks like a tiger. Yeah.
I can never make a paper clip.
There we go, like that. Okay. And now the other arm is going stretched all the way behind. So we're going to draw that, but we're going to draw it a little bit smaller just so. There we go. Like that. All right, this is a tricky pose. Okay, now for the legs right here. So we drew the Twinkie body and the other arm.
I can't believe this is stationed in Hollywood.
This is what? This studio?
Hollywood.
All right, now for the legs, remember we just did like kind of like egg Twinkie shapes like that. And then like little circles. So let's do that. Let's do like a mix between egg and Twinkie shape.
A Twinkie shape?
Yeah. Kind of like.
That looks like a teardrop, but like sideways.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a teardrop too. Yeah. All right, let's see. Oh, that other leg, it looks like we can't really see the knee. So we're going to kind of do what that original, maybe it looks like a baguette, people online are saying. Yeah. All right, and let's add the tail. I think the tail would go something. It looks like the tail kind of follows the spine, so let's do something like that. All right. Now I'm going to erase the part where it's going to be covered by the arm, just so we don't get confused. Let's see. All right. Let's see how we're doing on time. Okay. on top of this, I'm going to start drawing some of the details. Now this is going to be a little bit trickier because the details are going to be in a different angle. So we're going to have to use our imagination a little bit just to get an idea of where they're going to go. So I'm going to start with like the wraps around the legs because I feel like that will help make it look like Tigress right off the bat. There we go. Okay, and then the wraps around the waist too. All right. There we go. Yeah, now it's starting to really look like Tigress. All right. Okay, I need to stop nitpicking the eyes. I've been working on them for too long, and we need to get finished with the rest of the parts. Okay, so let's do the hands right here. There we go. The paws. Inside. All right. And then we're pretty much done here. We're just gonna add a few more details to the feet.
Wait, was that number 6 or number 15?
This was number 6, the pose. Yeah. All right. All right, now, I think this looks pretty solid as far as a tiger pose in that Hanga style of martial arts, Kung Fu. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if the crane looks a little bit better in this pose. We're gonna try to do the same pose, but with the crane shapes. Now, fortunately, I think the crane shapes are a little bit easier in my opinion. So what we're gonna do next is let me hide this. We're going to draw the crane. All right, for the crane here, I'm going to use this light teal green color for the sketch. All right, and what's great about this being a live stream is that if you guys are feeling like you're falling behind a little bit or something like that, or you haven't finished your tiger yet, you can totally rewatch this later on YouTube. It goes up, I think, like pretty much immediately after. So like by tonight, it'll be up there, and you can rewind and play it again. All right, so let's do this pose. Now, I think the big part, let's start with our action line right here. And an action line, again, is just a line that kind of encapsulates what the motion is for the character. And it really helps kind of keep things flowing. All right, let's draw the little head for the bird. Now, this is going to be kind of interesting because the bird's beak would be kind of right in front of this guy's face. So what I think we can do is I think we could change it a little bit and make the beak pointed in the same direction as the fist, because that seems like what the crane would do. It would kind of use a similar, it would kind of like do a dual attack. So there's the craned head. We can even draw the hat from a different angle, like this. This would be like the underside of the hat. All right. All right, now for the wings. Let's see. Actually, before we do the wings, let's make sure we know where the neck and the body are going to go. And the body of the crane, we said, is like more of like a circular egg shape, like that. There we go. All right, now the wings. Here we go. So the wings, we said, are kind of like a crescent moon shape, or like an in-between of a crescent moon and an orange slice. It's not fully like as curved all the time. So let's draw this. We want it to kind of line up with the beak. Like that, and then the other arm goes behind. It's kind of a really interesting shape. There we go. I don't know if that's the way that shape would go. Let's try it the other way and see. Yeah, I think that way feels better. And what's great about doing this activity too is that we don't actually know what the right way to draw it is. So our drawings are going to look a little bit better just for that reason alone.
There is no right way.
Exactly. All right. I like the way that this looks though, so I'm going to leave it with that one. All right, let's see. Now the legs just come straight out, and they're either, looks like in a straight line, or they're in like a check mark kind of shape. And then we're pretty much done with this crane pose. So let's do that. Straight line, or I think they're both going to be a little bit bent. So let's do this. Bent. Oh yeah, this is really going to look cool.
I only drew Finn and Jake, and I did good.
Finn and Jake from like Adventure Time?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I have my picture in the car.
Ooh, you should show it to me right after we're done. Yeah? Okay, cool. All right, let's see. The other leg. We're going to try to stay true to the original pose. But this feels like it's not as like expressive enough. I want to kind of... There we go. And what's cool is that this is like a practice that I learned that some directors did at the CTN Expo in November last year. There's a director from France that was showing a lot of like the college age artists or like young adult artists how to draw. And so they had a live model, like a person who was dressed up in some kind of like crazy costume. I think it was like almost like a, not even that crazy. I think it was just like a baseball player costume. But he challenged the artist to draw the model as if they were like an alligator or like a bunny. And you have to like come up with a character design based off of the character. So this is a technique that artists in the studio use a lot, especially because a lot of animated movies have animals as their main characters. So a lot of the times they'll use real person references and then try to anthropomorphize them into animals. All right. Right, I think I said that backwards, actually. I think anthropomorphize means turn it into a human. I'm actually not sure. All right. All right, now we're going to do the details for the crane. All right, let's look in again. You know, I'm going to bring this picture, a reference on this.
Both of his wings are at the side, or it's just flapping.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think when we add the details, we might be able to get some more clarity with those wings. Just going to move it there. Just overlapping everything. There we go. Okay. I know, I tried to fit it. Okay. All right, now for our crane. Let's add the eye in. I like to do the eyes first. Gives me like a sense of direction for where the character is going to go.
Gosh, did you just erase that? No, you erased that. So frustrating.
All right, for this pose, I'm going to have his mouth closed instead of open.
Oh, that was his mouth.
Whoa! Yeah, that was his mouth. There we go. All right. Water ball it down. Okay, here we go. Bless you. All right. I think we'll be able to finish this just in time. Now remember, these were like the big McDonald's M's that we used.
McDonald's?
Yeah. That's how I drew the wings. It's just a bunch of big McDonald's M's. All right. Okay, almost done here. Okay, have a good one, guys. Yeah. Oh, and send me your artwork too. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right, so there is our crane final pose, and let's compare it to our tigress pose.
I think we did pretty good.
I think we did pretty good too. Let me get rid of that part. Yeah, I'm gonna say I think this pose in particular was more inspired by a tiger than a crane, because it seems like, based on off of our drawings, I feel like it fits the tiger a little bit more than it fits the crane movement.
Yeah.
But what I would love for you guys to do is you could either take pictures of yourself doing poses and then try to do that. Actually, I have a specific challenge that I want you guys to do. So I'm going to show you guys that. And then we'll sign off because we're just about done for today. All right. So our challenge of the week is to draw yourself in a crazy kung fu pose. All right. So you could pick any pose. You could find a pose online. You could see Kung Fu Panda and do one of their poses and then draw yourself in that kind of pose. Or if you want to try an alternative version, you can draw an animal in a different kind of kung fu pose too. Lots of different options, but whatever you guys draw, if you're here in class, I'll take a picture of your artwork if you want me to, and then we could share it next week for next week's episode. Or if you're online, you guys can send it to me via email or Instagram, and then I'll add it into the group, and you'll see it on the next episode. For those of you online, remember to thumbs up, subscribe, you can donate, and you can comment what you'd like me to teach you next. And if you're in here in the classroom, if you guys have any suggestions on or thoughts on things that you want to learn for art, you can do that as well.
Are we gonna paint?
Ooh, I would love to paint, honestly. I have done some watercolor classes before. That would be fun. We just have to make sure everybody brings some watercolors. Now, if you guys are interested, I do one-on-one tutoring, so you could sign up for that via the link in my bio. I could work with you on whatever projects that you want to work on, or if you have any just general questions, you can sign up for a Q&A with me. This is more for the parents. If you guys have questions on how I run my classes, how the curriculum works, and I can answer any of your questions, and I offer this free of charge. Then. Messages from Earth. If you guys would like, you could send me your star student ideas and I will redraw them in my style, which is really fun. And so submit that the same way for you in my email or Instagram at teacher.noah. And thank you for everyone that showed up today. Thank you for everybody online. Our art class had a question in perspective. Ooh, perspective would be a good lesson to teach. For sure, especially if they're drawing on Procreate. They have some pretty cool perspective tools. And thank you to our sponsors, TTN, for covering all the classes and sponsoring all of you guys to be able to show up for free. So CTN is awesome. And that's the studio that we're in right now. And then next week, we're going to be drawing chameleon collages, which I'm really excited for because one of the students actually has a pet chameleon. And she said that she would bring it in next week so you guys could see a real live chameleon. And I'll show it online to you guys on YouTube as well.